Hold up. Biggie's family just dropped bombshell evidence that could finally answer the question hip-hop fans have been asking for decades.
After my son's death, believe it or not, little Kim and I were close. But I guess she doesn't. I'm a woman who speak my mind. And sometimes you say things, the truth hurts, and you take it the wrong way. And I did not like the way she was palavering over national television and radio about Biggie, the love of her life, her heart, her nose, her mouth, her butt, every part of her. You know, Christopher is not here to defend himself. And, you know, I was offended. I let her know. And she didn't like it, and I don't give a hoot. You know, as far as Little C's is concerned, you know, they're all struggling. You know, Christopher is not here. He was a figure in their life that they look up to, and he was not here, and everybody just, you know, go their separate ways, and the ways that they went wasn't the straight way, you know, and as a result, they all went down the toilet. But I wish them all well, you know. I might tell them to go to hell and mind their own damn business, but deep down, I wish them well.
That's something I wanted to ask you, because it seemed like you were such a pillar, such a central figure, like that kept everything together. How different do you think things would be amongst them if you were there?
Oh gosh, if Christopher was here today, I know Kim wouldn't be in jail. Little C's wouldn't be on national radio yapping his mouth. You know, they'd be taking care of their business, making beautiful music. You know, but hey, let's not complain about spilled milk. It happens. Even though I was on the set almost every day, I missed it once, and I missed the California scene deliberately, intentionally. I had mixed feelings. I had mixed feelings because during the whole process, whenever I was interviewed, they would ask me, what is it you want the viewers to know, to see about your son? And I always said I wanted them to, they knew the artist, they knew the rapper, the entertainer. I wanted them to see the father, to see his heart condition, to see the friend, to see the man, to see the husband. And last night, I don't know who I saw. Yes, I saw the man. Yes, I saw the father. I saw the son. I saw the friend. But there were part of that man that made me angry. Angry because I never saw that part of him. When he left my home, he had a life out there. When he was a teenager, he had a life that I never knew. And trust me, I was not naive. I just never knew. And that's the truth. And I will not say it again. When I saw last night, there was a part of that man I want to slap. That young woman I want to hug. There was a young woman in the scene I want to hold. I want to hug. I want to ask her tons of questions. I want to ask a lot of questions. Why? Is this the truth? There's so many questions I want to ask her.
Valletta Wallace, Biggie's mother, isn't holding back anymore, and she's got some serious words for Diddy. If you thought the allegations against Diddy were bad before, what Biggie's family just revealed might blow the entire situation wide open. Trust me, you do not want to miss this.
Hey, Miss Wallace, Gene Deal.
Oh, hi, Gene. How are you?
All right, man. You know I ain't seen you since I came to your house and had that conversation with you. How you been? You all right?
I've been okay. I've been watching you on Facebook.
I'm sorry, Miss Wallace. I'm sorry I had to do what I had to do, but you know, it is what it is.
Okay. I know you do.
Thank you, Miss Wallace. Like I told people, I said if Miss Wallace would have called me and told me to shut it down, I would have shut it down. Miss Wallace ain't called. She knew how to get in touch with me. If Miss Wallace didn't tell me to shut it down, I'm going to keep doing it because I respect you, Miss Wallace.
Do what you do.
Thank you, Ma. I appreciate you.
you do.
What was the backstory behind that, Big Mom calling?
My man, that had to be, if I say exhilarating, it has to be one of the highlights of coming out here and doing what I've done over the last, since 97. Since 97. Since I seen Ms. Wallace. You know what I'm saying? To hold Ms. Wallace's hand and explain to what happened to her son that night, it was one of the, I guess, most emotional times I've ever had in my life. Because here I am explaining how your son died and his last words and everything that went on after somebody who you trusted with your son's life told you that they didn't even know me. But God is good every time, man, all the time. You know what I'm saying? And when she mentioned my name, my fraternity brother, Bill Willard, was right there and said, yo, that's my fraternity brother, Gene Deal. I know him, I could call him right now. I went up to see Ms. Wallace, brother. And she took me around her whole house and I seen the memorial of Big. I seen how this lady loved and lost her only child. And brother, when I say that it was an emotional time sitting there with her, it's something that I'll never forget, and I never ever want to go through that.
So, what's really going on? Well, for starters, Biggie's mother, Voletta Wallace, just said she's ready to slap the daylights out of Diddy. Yeah, you heard that right. In an exclusive with Rolling Stone, she admitted she's sick to her stomach after seeing the surveillance footage of Diddy assaulting Cassie in 2016. But here's the kicker. Voletta isn't just angry about that. She's furious about what she's recently learned regarding Biggie's death. And if what she's saying is true, Diddy's involvement could be much deeper than we ever imagined.
I heard you make a comment before, man, and you said that after Biggie got killed, Puffy, he had a conversation with Ms. Wallace and he told her that he didn't know you. Why do you think he told her that, man?
Because the LAPD was saying, if you want to know what happened that night, talk to Gene Deal. And she had told Ms. Wallace that a couple of times. So Ms. Wallace was calling over to Bad Boy saying, I need to get in touch with Gene Deal, the person who was doing security for Puff. So me and Puff had said a long time ago that if anything ever go down, don't tell nobody my name in the whole 9 yards. But if you're gonna tell the LAPD my name, if you're gonna tell the FBI, if you're gonna tell any law enforcement people my name, you understand? You might as well tell Big Mama my name, but he told her he didn't know me. The reason he probably did that was because he knew that I was gonna tell Ms. Wallace all what happened. Because he know I exchanged that night. The last time I seen Puff in California before we got in the car and to take him to San Diego is when he grabbed both of my arms. Gene, we gotta pray, we gotta pray. And I pushed that nigga arms off me and I said, yo, pray for what? That nigga's dead. So that's the last time I saw him, you know, in California. No, because he was in the car with Paul and them and they was going to San Diego to fly right out of California that night.
Voletta Wallace isn't holding back. She said, and I quote, I hope that I see Sean one day, and the only thing I want to do is slap the daylights out of him. Because I liked him. I didn't want to believe all the awful things, but I'm so ashamed and embarrassed. Now, for years, there's been speculation about Diddy's role in Biggie's murder, but nothing this concrete has ever come out from Biggie's own family. And let's not forget, this is coming right on the heels of the explosive investigative piece in Rolling Stone, half a year in the making, that's been stirring up even more drama.
When it comes to Biggie's murder, do you think Diddy should be held accountable?
No doubt. I didn't think that way, because I too was traumatized in a way, to be totally honest. When you pull somebody out the car and they done pissed and they done shit on themselves, and you got that dead weight in your hand, and you gotta sit down there and tell this man mother, what you heard, what you saw, after this dude that lied to his mother. That's trauma, bro. I don't care how hard you is. And Biggie ain't the only dude that I've seen get murdered at a party, or being murdered. But he's the only one that I had to grab in my hands and carry and help put him on a gurney, a stretcher. He's the only one that I gotta constantly hear his music on the radio. He's the only one that I can't get Miss Wallace out of my mind when she grabbed both of my hands and said, I don't want to hear no more, with tears in her eyes, man. To have an experience like that, for probably and arguably the world's greatest rapper of all time, that's crazy, bruh. So now, he's responsible for not having enough security. He's responsible for having Big there. He's responsible for not listening to security by telling them, if we go to this party, one of us gonna die tonight. Somebody gonna get killed tonight.
In that same article, it's not just about Diddy's alleged actions with Cassie. They dug deep into Biggie's frustrations with Bad Boy Records before his death. Apparently, Biggie wasn't as close with Diddy as we all thought. Photographer Monique Bunn says she knows for a fact that Biggie was planning to leave the label. Yeah, the guy behind Ready to Die and Life After Death was done with Diddy. And now, with Valletta's comments and new evidence coming out, it's looking like the split wasn't just about business. It could have been about something far more sinister.
The award show season was up. We had to go out there to participate in that. We had records that were nominated. We were a budding, launching company that already launched, and we were successful. We could not go. But Biggie did have an inconvenience. He had a car accident. I think it was in Brooklyn, maybe downtown Brooklyn. He had a broken femur at that time, and he was recovering from that. Big-sized person, could not really sit comfortably in a plane, not even first class, with a cast on. It was uncomfortable. He was talked into going to the LA portion of the trip so that he could be out there ahead of time. He was out in LA so there wouldn't be a big rush and bustle to get him there. So I think he was out there for a good week and a half ahead of time leading into the event. So being out there, we came to follow up and to have that night. And then he was supposed to, as per Arista's marketing department, Arista, one of the best labels and distribution companies that you can have to back you, the legendary Clive Davis, who backed so many artists, believed in Bad Boy so much, he put together a marketing campaign that was never seen before that campaign, and still wasn't seen, but it was put together so that Biggie could receive an international press junket in London with all press from around the world meeting him that Saturday, Sunday after the Friday award show night. He was supposed to go on an international flight with me. We have the itinerary still to this day. He was supposed to leave that early morning, go to London, and we would be out there for 2 or 3 days, and then he would go back to New York and go home. Diddy called Sean P. Diddy, whatever his name was during that time, called late Friday night, early Saturday morning, saying he's not going to London. Call Arista, cancel it. You go, you represent it, you go. He's not going. He wants to stay here in LA. Now, I know for a fact that he was prepared to go would have loved not to go if his label owner had only said, you don't have to go big.
And that brings us to the most jaw-dropping part of this whole thing, the new proof. It's not just rumors anymore. Biggie's family is reportedly sitting on real evidence that ties Diddy to Biggie's murder. We're talking about detailed witness statements, insider testimonies, and even financial records that point to a cover-up. Now, obviously, Diddy has denied any involvement in Biggie's death for years. But with all this new information, his silence is starting to look more like an admission. So why haven't we heard anything from Diddy yet? Well, according to insiders, his PR team is scrambling. They're trying to keep this story quiet, but it's only a matter of time before the whole thing blows up.
These demand letters are not unique to Diddy. This has been going on for a long time, right?
This is part of a strategy, and there's clearly a PR and a communications way of going about this that's tied into what they want to be both the legal and the financial outcome. So it's not an accident. And I agree with the assertion that the time for leverage is before the unnamed celebrities are outed or their names are become public, even if they're just allegations. So it seems pretty clear to me that this whole rollout of the press strategy is meant to support and they're using the media as a tool and seizing on the fact that the allegations are so incredibly salacious and disturbing, and it's a lot to take in.
Let's just say, you know, you received the letter, but then the lawsuit comes out and it's still anonymous. You're named as Celebrity 1 or Celebrity 2. What's your response at this point?
The best possible outcome is to avoid being named and to avoid having your brand connected with P. Diddy's, because his at this point is completely toxic. I don't think there's any scenario under the sun under which he comes back from this. So if you have the opportunity to settle this and to keep your name out of the headlines, that would be the course that I would advise, and I think most celebrity clients would prefer.
If you've been paying attention to the hip-hop world lately, you know that Diddy's legal issues aren't exactly a secret. Between the Cassie allegations and this federal grand jury looming over him, things aren't looking great. And the timing of Biggie's family dropping this bombshell? It's almost too perfect. Some are even speculating that Diddy might start snitching just to save himself. Remember when 50 Cent said Diddy should start snitching? Well, maybe 50 was onto something, because if Diddy doesn't come clean soon, things could get real ugly, real fast.
Hey, Vernon, I want you to speak on this. You didn't snitch. He did 25 years. He didn't snitch on someone he could have went through.
Okay.
What would you tell him as far as, we just spoke on this, but for him not to snitch? Right now, it seems like snitching is kind of thrown out. You know,
oh yeah.
Rules have changed now. What's your thoughts on him not snitching about, you know, the people that he was robbing banks with and still getting hit with, you know, everything he got hit with?
He didn't tell on, you know, his code people. He didn't tell it on him.
Yeah.
I mean, see what you gonna tell? You the one got caught.
Gotcha.
Hello. I'm just saying though, now people do that. They do that. Everybody, you got caught.
They offer you.
If you in jail and he not, I mean, well, you know how many times I done sit in court and they say, is he in here in court with you now? You tell him, yeah, and he say, could you point at that niggas? You know how many times that didn't happen to me? Yeah. I got a boy that I see in my rap battles. I say, I ain't never believed in magic till I see my dog get on the stand and turn into a snake. I'm gonna let y'all soak in there for. I said, I ain't never believed in magic until I see my dog get on the stand and turn into a snake. Now y'all catch it. I know it, bro. Now you get it. But you know, I didn't got pointed at. But you caught. You know what happened if you go to jail with a snitch jacket on your back. You didn't have that, did you? Yeah. That's the best thing to go in the feds with. See, he came in a clean sheet of paper. Look at it. No tattoo. Look at it. That's a clean. That's what you call a clean sheet. I wish I could clean my paper.
And speaking of ugly, let's not forget that Biggie was just 24 years old when he was gunned down in that drive-by in LA in 1997. 2 months later, Diddy released I'll Be Missing You, a tribute that hit #1 on the Hot 100 and even won a Grammy. But now, fans are starting to ask some hard questions. Was the tribute genuine, or was it a way to cover up the guilt? People are looking back at that moment with fresh eyes, wondering if Diddy was just trying to control the narrative before the truth came out.
Of March 9th, 1997, there was a big vibe party at the Peterson Museum in LA. I guess Puffy talks Biggie into actually attending.
Yo, that whole week, man, Puff was like, yo, man, yo, Big, you gotta come to this party. And he was like, yeah, all right, cause now I know why he was calling him Diddy. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, all right, Diddy, all right. He said, yeah. So then Puff was like, yo, Big, you gotta go to this party. And he wasn't getting the response that he needed from Big to make sure that he was going to the party. So, this was real odd. Puff came one day and he had Sally Richardson, her makeup person, and this other chick, I think. And he said, yo, I need D-Rock to ride with me. And then he said, Gene, you stay here with Big. And I was like, which was weird. So D-Rock stayed gone the whole day with Puff. And that never happened, So I guess the chick liked D-Rock or whatever. That's what Puff wanted her to do. And next thing you know, I've gotten phone calls. I got a phone call from Unique from Mecca Audio, right? And Unique from Mecca Audio say, yo, vest up. Those guys is coming to get y'all. I tell Chaz, the day of the party, I spoke to Chaz. He said, yeah, it's gonna be some street shit, bruh. I'm letting you know that. So now, I called my man, I forgot his name D, but I called him, he used to f around with Jodeci. I asked him, was they coming to the party? Cause we going to the Vibe party. And he said, nah, we ain't going.
But wait, it gets even messier. Mase, a former bad boy artist who was close to both Diddy and Biggie, recently hinted at more skeletons in the closet. On his podcast with Cameron, Mase said he's saving my takes on Diddy for a documentary. What does that mean? Well, we can only guess. But if Mase is sitting on more info about Diddy's shady dealings, then this could turn into the biggest scandal in hip-hop history. And remember, Mase wasn't just some minor player at Bad Boy. He was one of the label's biggest stars, right alongside Biggie.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Killer, I'm doing good, man. Reparations is getting closer and closer. I'll be sure to give you your percentage.
I ain't had nothing to do with that money. That's all yours, man. I was on the next boat. Yeah, man.
Man.
Getting closer and closer,
Closer
man.
and closer.
Okay.
The big payback.
This has been the last year. Has really kind of been the big payback for you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of last week. You went Destiny.
Yeah.
You went Destiny. You know what happened yesterday, right?
Yeah, man. That's what I'm trying to say. It's going crazy.
What happened?
I'm gonna let you start. What did you see that happen?
Oh, yesterday was the anniversary of Biggie Smalls' album, 27 years later. That's what I seen yesterday. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, that was real. It's amazing that all of this would transpire on that day.
What's crazy is yesterday was Biggie Smalls' 27th anniversary of Life After Death. And it was also the Diplomat Immunity album, 21st anniversary. It's going on. It's going on around. Yeah, man. I was just saying, that day yesterday was kind of.
That's eerie, man.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. It was just
that was crazy.
That's kind of crazy, man. I had no idea that, the internet lets you know, because I don't be knowing these dates for my albums or other people's albums, but they will remind you, man. Yeah. That's all you seen?
Ain't a lot.
That's what I seen. That's what I was.
I seen helicopters, all kind of stuff.
Okay.
As all this unfolds, we have to ask the tough question. Was Diddy more than just Biggie's business partner and friend? Could he have been the mastermind behind Biggie's death? The East Coast-West Coast rivalry was brutal in the 90s, with both Biggie and Tupac getting caught in the crossfire. But was Diddy the one pulling the strings? Fans have been debating this for years, but now Biggie's family is demanding answers, and they've got the receipts to back it up.
When me and Puff touched down in California, we were going everywhere. You understand? He got connected with Sally Richardson, and we were going to the movies. We were going to the House of Blues, everywhere. So I called Kirk Burroughs, "Oh, your brains, I thought you said we wasn't going nowhere." Puff is going everywhere, and it's just me and him and the driver. You know, some guys might meet up with us and everything like that, but it was just me and him. He said, "Gene, I'll be out there. Y'all gonna be all right?" I said, "All right, cool." Prior to that, I had got a phone call from a guy called Waynesworth Hall. I think it's Waynesworth Hall. His name, street name was Unique from Mecca Audio. He was a drug kingpin. He said, "Yo, Gene." Nah, the girl Dawn called me. He said, "Yo, you on the phone." And I said, "Yeah?" I said, "What's up, Unique?" He said, "Vest up," and the phone hung up. Because what happens is, and I found this out, that if the feds find out it's a three-way call, they'll click off. They'll hang up the phone some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So I called Dawn back. Dawn, I said, "Yo, Dawn, who was that?" She said, "I told you that was Unique." I said, "Unique from Mecca Audio?" Now, Dawn used to date Diddy, so I used to she knows a lot of people. So I say to Dawn, "Dawn, that was Unique?" She said, "Yeah, that was Unique from Mecca Audio. He told you, he said they coming out, they coming to get y'all." So I say, "Yo, wow, they coming to get us." So I called Kirk Burroughs. I told Kirk Burroughs we need more security.
And now, with the spotlight back on Diddy, we have to wonder, who else knew about this? Big names like Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, and even Oprah have all been connected to Diddy over the years. Could they have known about the cover-up? Were they part of it? And if so, how deep does this conspiracy go? People are starting to talk, and the silence from Diddy's inner circle is deafening.
The music world is numb today, stunned by the violent death of gangster rapper Notorious B.I.G. The tragedy happened here outside of the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, where the rapper, also known as Biggie Smalls, was attending a Vibe magazine party for the Soul Train Awards. Now, shortly after midnight Saturday, Notorious B.I.G. left the party and got into his car when another car rolled by and shots rang out. At least 5 bullets ripped through the door, killing B.I.G., who was sitting in the passenger seat. Dozens of heavily armed cops arrived on the scene as word of the shooting spread. The bullet holes in Biggie's vehicle are mute testimony to the gang-style drive-by shooting that took the life of the Brooklyn-born rapper, whose real name is Christopher Wallace. Smalls was rushed in his bullet-riddled vehicle to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Dozens of fans, many overcome with grief, held a vigil at the hospital.
They've got a number of individuals that they're speaking to right now, and we're hopeful that we can resolve this matter relatively soon.
These are pictures of the 24-year-old Biggie at the Vibe party just hours before he was killed. Eerie images of a man who had no idea of the violent fate awaiting him. Biggie Smalls was larger than life. The robust rapper was 6'3", almost 300 pounds. He was loud and boastful, known for talking trash. His music was apparently a reflection of his real-life experiences. Biggie made no secret he once lived a life of crime, even selling crack on the tough streets of Brooklyn's Bedford-Stuyvesant section, where he grew up.
Let's rewind back to that fateful evening in LA. Biggie had just wrapped up a night of partying at the Vibe magazine after-party at the Peterson Automotive Museum, which was buzzing with the who's who of the industry. Rolling in a convoy of SUVs, they didn't expect what was about to go down. When a dark-colored Chevy Impala rolled up to the side of Biggie's vehicle and a gunman fired multiple shots, it was the end of an era. Just like that, the man who gave us some of the most iconic lines in rap history was gone.
Biggie is dead because Tupac lied about being set up. Who believed that Biggie set up Tupac? Did you believe it?
Did I believe it? Nah, I ain't believe it. But Tupac, he never said that Biggie set him up. He just wanted Biggie to tell him who was behind it.
I get it because a lot of people didn't feel Biggie had anything to do with the studio shooting. And then Pac vocally was like, didn't it shot? You know, he set me up, or they set me up, or he knew about it. They knew about it and they didn't tell me. That's what he said. Him and Puffy was upstairs in the other studio, and they knew that somebody was gonna come in there to rob Tupac that night, and they didn't tell him. I don't think I even believe that. That's just my opinion. Would Biggie still be dead if he didn't come to LA to promote? Me, personally, I would have never came. Because if I know the whole city is not liking me right now, and I get it, are they playing my songs? And everybody love Biggie. Of course, we love Biggie. We did. You know, I banged Biggie Smalls. But on some rap no, you don't come here at that time.
For years, we've been fed a steady diet of theories about what happened that night, but none ever felt like they truly stuck. Was it the East Coast-West Coast beef that led to the hit? Was Suge Knight involved, seeking retaliation for Tupac's murder just months earlier? Or was it something much closer to home, something darker, like Diddy himself orchestrating the entire thing? Now, with Biggie's family apparently coming forward with new evidence pointing fingers at Diddy, it all begins to feel less like a conspiracy theory and more like an intricate plot of betrayal, one woven into the very fabric of the hip-hop world.
But Big is writing all Junior Mafia, Lil Kim, everything, but he telling Puff, they writing their own because he's in the publishing deal with Diddy, right? Okay. This is what I think ultimately why Big got killed, because he was robbing Puff.
So does that clear Diddy's involvement with it?
No, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Could you kind of put that on, it seemed like you angled it like Reggie as an orchestrator, but where does Diddy fit in that equation then? Because people are trying to assume that he is connected to Tupac's assassination.
All right. First and foremost, let me say my points and views are speculation, right? This is just all through research. And my points and views is not the points and views of Comedy Hype, all right? First and foremost, let me say that, right? So, Reggie, I believe, is involved because, let's take it back to Diddy, right? Mm-hmm. More recently, there's a rapper, or a former rapper, I don't even know if he's a rapper anymore, but a guy named Little Sean did an interview recently, and that brought up more of Diddy's involvement to me, right? Okay. The Quad Studios session, right? Where Tupac got shot, right? I believe that that's where the ultimate ending in Vegas, I think that this is the origin.
Connected?
Yes.
Okay.
Right? Why I say that is this, right? I watched this interview with Little Sean more recently, and when he talked about it, the Quad shooting, this time he left blanks. He didn't want to mention Diddy name, and he didn't want to mention Jimmy Henchman name, right? Which was odd to me because when he left those blanks, I went and did research, and I went through all his interviews. I found his original interview with Combat Jack, where he names everybody, right? And the more recent one, he's just talking about, I got too much respect for these dudes. I don't want to mention their names. You know, they my big brothers. I'm like, damn, who he talking about? So I go research, boom, find the Combat Jack joint. He giving all up, right? The blanks that was missing was Diddy and Jimmy Henchman, right?
Whatever it is, it's clear that the battle for Biggie's legacy isn't over. Diddy has built an empire, one that has weathered countless storms. But can he survive this? The release of this so-called proof could spark a new wave of investigations, media scrutiny, and public outcry. If there's even a shred of truth to the idea that Diddy had anything to do with Biggie's death, it could bring his entire career crashing down. And that would be the ultimate plot twist in this already tragic story. At the end of the day, Biggie's murder remains an open wound for his fans, his family, and for the hip-hop community. If the proof Biggie's family claims to have truly implicates Diddy, then the legacy of one of hip-hop's biggest moguls could be forever tarnished. But until that proof sees the light of day, all we can do is wait and watch as the next chapter in this long-running saga unfolds. One thing is for sure though, if Diddy killed Biggie, it's time for the world to finally know the truth.
The night that Biggie got killed, right? How often do you think about that night? Because when I talk to you, I can tell that, you know, that night, that still get to you. And I can tell, man, that you still replay that night over and over in your head, thinking about what you could have did to avoid Biggie from getting killed.
Sometimes I can't get the shit out of my mind, but I have good days, bad days. You gotta realize when you hear the music, I go into a restaurant and they playing the Biggie music and they got shit like on the walls of big places I go and I see that shit. And you was put in a place to try to save this kid's life. And I seen the joy, the pain, I seen all the bullshit unfold. I saw this kid lose his life. This kid died while I was pulling him out the car. He had died, man. That's why I told my life story in my book. That's why I told what I seen and what I felt that night in the book. And the second one is a tearjerker, and it's crazy because I'm telling all the stories in it.
Will we ever get definitive answers? Only time will tell, but as new pieces of the puzzle continue to emerge, Biggie's family and supporters remain relentless in their pursuit of the truth. Until then, the debate over whether Diddy played a role in the murder of his friend will keep us all talking.